I started my career in creative thinkers after graduating with an English language education degree in 2023. I have spent all of my time as a creative thinker in children's education, receiving two promotions and award for outstanding performance. I want to join a smaller company now and take on more leadership and new challenge in my job. Okay, I consider my social skills to be one of my greatest strengths. During my time with the company, I managed to combine two teams and organize training programs for all team members to ensure that everyone is confident in their new role and we can communicate very well. What are my weaknesses? I lack confidence in front of the crowd. During the first few years of my career, I focused entirely on public speaking. It's still my specialty. That's the reason I applied for a content creator job at your company. But I do realize that understanding the public's interests and grabbing people's attention is also beneficial because some of the strategies that work there are also work well in the public. So I started spending a time studying and learning this new area, which has helped me a lot. I see this as a step towards bigger and better things, and I believe I can develop better here with the skills I have. While no employer expects every worker to stay in the organization over the long term, this kind of response implies that you are more focused on the future than on the present. It also shows that you're one step out of the way before you even get here. I'm glad you asked. In 5 years, I have seen myself taking on more responsibility, both through participating in every activity that was planned at a higher level. I'm not sure which path makes sense to pursue, but I know my goal right now is to build a strong foundation and gain valuable experience so that I will have a successful future in this industry. My ideal company is one that offers opportunities to learn, grow, and build current skill in an environment where my input is valued, ideas are recognized, and everything is in place where I can collaborate effectively with those around me to achieve common goals. I have watched this company for a long time. I read this article a year ago about how you innovate, and it really caught my eye. In my opinion, innovation and creativity are important parts of success. I would love to be a part of that innovations here. It is not only the company's innovations that attract me, but also the way they treat their employees. I would love to work somewhere where I can be that close to my co-workers. Based on what you have said, and from the research I have done, your company is looking for creative thinkers who are strong in interpersonal skills and technology. I believe my experience align and make me a perfect fit. I'm an effective communicator who is good at giving oral presentation and communicating well. I want to bring my broad range of expertise to your company. I don't know about the other candidates, but I'm quite confident that my skill and experience can help me successfully run my position as a creative thinker. I was effective in leading my team for 3 years. My work experience with good communication, skill, friendly, demeanor, and work ethic made me an ideal and strong candidate for the role. I have the experience needed to contribute to your team right away. Without a doubt, I am very excited about the vision of working for your company. As a creative thinker, my job is to provide interesting content and put my creativity in an educational event and respond to questions. I enjoy working with a great group of people at my current workplace, but the opportunity at this company fits perfectly into the career direction I want to take. I read on your website that you are one of the best companies in Asia. I also read the latest news articles, which mention that you also want to expand your reach to these various areas of service for educational institutions. I'm not worried about moving on to accept this to moving on to accept this position because I believe the opportunity to join your staff is too good to run down. I've browsed the housing market in the area and found a nice city I want to live in with a good school, affordable housing, and reasonable travel. Even though this is a really big change, I'm ready to do it. My final project is to put together a working group to analyze and find effective ways of learning where I work. I work with other creators to find what learning solution we are interested in presenting. We finally got the best choice for our situation at that moment. I divine going above and beyond as doing what needs to be done and not just what is expected of me. As in my last job, I was given the project and the expectations for it, but I know that the minimum requirements won't get the job done right. I have to work on the weekends, but I do it as I know it must be done. Like everyone else, I have received input from my manager which helped me see how my work could be improved. I was once asked to revise a project that had taken up a lot of my time, but after listening to criticism carefully, I saw how I could make change that would arouse interest in learning. I've always wanted to learn from people with different views and experience, especially when comments can help me grow in my career and strengthen my skill. Having worked in the team quite often in my previous position, it was inevitable that the situation would arise. Last year, I was to come up with an educational plan for creative learning. Each member of this team is given a special task that must be complete according to the deadline we set. One of the members is far behind and says that he may not be able to finish part of his project on time. I sat down with him to understand why he couldn't complete his part of the project. After all, this is what we do as well, and we all have an equal share. One of our employees started arriving late for work. I explained to him why I was concerned about this behavior. It violated our policies and had a negative impact on his co-workers. He acknowledged the problem, and I asked if there was any reason for the change from the usual timelines. After she explained that the problem was a family parenting issue, we agreed that she would advise early on any days of potential scheduling problems, and we would try to adjust her scheduling several days each week. Early in my career, I learned valuable lessons when I lacked communication with employees. Ultimately, this resulted in lost revenue for the department. When I realized my mistake, I immediately took responsibility. I go on to explain the missing details and why I neglect to communicate this detail. Clients respect my honesty, and although it took a little while, we ended up getting clients to work with us again. I learned the value of communication, even difficult or negative information, and why it is important to build trust and hold on to clients. I only need to make this mistake once to learn from it, even though it is a hard way to learn it. I get annoyed when people complain about their work. It really gets my mood down and makes me not want to be there. When this happened to my previous job, I told this person with respect that I couldn't be around such dynamics. When they didn't stop complaining, I changed my lunch spot so that it wasn't around them during my lunch break. On days when I had to work with them, I ignored their negative comments and changed the subject. Then we can communicate in a more positive and uplifting way. First of all, I will try to make sure that I understand the situation, especially if I'm asked to do something that usually violates the rules. And I'm sure I understand what I'm being asked to do. If that still a problem, I'll clear up my doubts. After that, if it's just a matter of procedure, I do things the boss way, because the supervisor has a different view of the situation. However, if it is a security issue or some other major issue, I will not act until I'm sure that what I'm doing will not jeopardize our entire project. One of the hardest periods of my life was when I had to switch my entire company to a new data plane. I know that there are two possible outcomes, one good and the other very negative. I have time to map out the perfect plane. Fortunately, my team is very reliable and we get the job done. One time my boss came up to me and asked why he was not receiving emails from certain clients. Initially, I explained to him that I didn't know and that I hadn't heard from the client either. A few days after that, I checked the junk folder in my email and saw all these emails that were supposed to be sent to my boss. I sent them right away and told my boss what happened. I make sure I check all my folders. I actively adjust my attitude during conflict situations. This means I try to listen to the other person's point of view without getting defensive. I also try to move the confrontation to a private space to avoid further complications. If that happened to me during a lunch meeting, I wouldn't regret it. However, I would like to report the mistake to the waiter so that he can correct himself. I remember when I was young and made mistakes, and the only way I can improve is by pointing out those mistakes. I will definitely try to confirm my suspicions first, but if illegal activity occurs within the company I work for, I feel obligated to report it. Hopefully, this will be something that can be resolved through a conversation with management, but in the end, my ethic will compel me to do what is necessary to end this situation. I can remember a situation at my last job where I was asked to provide an interesting lesson for our biggest seminar of the year. It was a job that required more than 3 or 4 days of preparation, which I noticed in the first few hours. That situation helped me to realize that it is more important to be realistic about your own abilities and stay focused on company goals than to try to shoulder the burden and create the potential for bigger problems. When I working in an education center, I launched a series of children's programs that didn't get the attendance and audience satisfaction levels that were expected. After making a few adjustments, I had to decide whether to watch the project through to completion or stop it early and redirect the source to another program. After speaking with my mentor and researching programs that neck boring libraries offered, I made the challenging choice to end my project, applying the lesson I learned from failure to improve on other initiatives. Looking back, I'm happy that I chose to end the project, even though I have a vested interest in its success. We can use this program time blocks to expand one of our most popular programs and increase our reach in the community during the summer instead of losing valuable time leading up to the school year. Even if my assignment seems unattainable, I will work hard and find the best approach to completing the task. I'll organizing the task from most important to smallest, and then I'll start working on the most important task. If there is an assignment I can delegate to another capable individual, I will not be afraid to ask for help. I'm looking for a challenging job that will give me the opportunity to work on interesting projects. Salary is only part of what I'm looking for. My starting salary was $45,000 and my final salary was $60,000. However, this does not take into account the 6 bonus I received while working there. For me, this job is about getting people together to solve problems. I will make sure that students are the center of what I do, and I will take it alone to ensure that they find it easy to negative the various departments that set to this aspect of their educational experience, because I believe that students and academic affairs should be cooperated. Thank you.